But we have also partners, the funders, and which we call them partners. So they have their way of thinking, or they have their objectives, or what they are doing in order to make a change, a huge change. So these are very important stakeholders. And we have the field practitioners with whom we work. So all together, we have to take under consideration all their point of view, their objective, their needs, their dreams, everything. So in this complexity, we try to create a dialogue among all these stakeholders. What we do, we try to create partnership through this dialogue. Sorry. Okay. And a partnership that creates ownership and commitment for the evaluation process, a dialogic decision making, when you are talking and sharing ideas, and give time for that.
Sorry.
You have to disconnect.
I'm sorry, I didn't disconnect the site. I didn't realize that.
No, just put it in Matzeget, this one. Okay, and
Skyping.
There was somebody Skyping me, yes.
And this dialogue creates contextual outcome interpretation, and it makes the outcomes of the evaluation relevant, and you can use it, the usage. So the whole idea of this circle is that all the stakeholders are part of the evaluation process. And in a moment, okay, you can see that the participatory evaluation consists of the definition of evaluative needs and question, research design, gathering data, outcome interpretation as a working base for the field. I'll give you an example. Okay, this was theory and aspirations. Okay, how it happens. We get money for excellence students in the periphery. Mostly part of it Ethiopian. What did they do? So anyway, this is a big foundation organization that funds activity in order to promote excellent students, in order to make them choose going to the Technion, for engineering and doing this stuff, and also to promote themselves and more self-efficacy, that they should be able to dream for a breakthrough in society or be part of the society. I shouldn't move.
Do you need it?
Yes. Yes, please. Okay. So anyway, what happened at the beginning, this organization, it's a fund, is big and has a lot of money. So we were chosen, this Branko Weiss Institute, to conduct these programs, to be in charge of the programs, in-school programs, and also to develop the programs and so on and so forth. And for monitoring, to see if we are doing the right thing, how many students, how many courses, how many activities, and so on and so forth, and to see the change throughout the years of their school achievements. They wanted... I'm moving away from
Yeah,
here.
don't go over there.
So anyway, they defined what data should be gathered. We wanted the instructors to gather data in order for organizational development, professional development, so it's different data. So what happened? The poor guy or girl, okay, the woman at school had to gather so much data, and in different stages of the year. So once he had to gather data for the foundation, once he had for us, and if it was a partnership between this fund and governmental, the educational ministry, they wanted something else. So it was crazy and really very hard. So what we started last year, and that was the evaluation unit role, is to start a dialogue and first of all to see what is needed, when is needed, what gives what is good for decision making. I just asked question, what do you need the data for? And we formed some questions for the funders, okay? And when do you need this data? When this data is relevant? Let's see. Okay, look at the school year milestones, sometimes the school year. When do they do tests? When do they gather the marks, the grades, and so on and so forth? When do they do the activities? So we created a calendar just for data gathering, which will be coherent and will end on the same program. It was Excel, on the Excel, which is very familiar to the people in the field. So what happened last year was so good because the data was accurate. They didn't do it just to do it, just because they are obliged to do it. They have to do it. Also, they started to use the data. We worked on we analyzed the data. This is our inner work. We analyze the data, and then we do a seminar, one-day seminar for these instructors from the field, and then we interpret the results from a macro view, for the whole program, and each instructor got his own or her result. So they could, and we do it in August before the school year starts, and they could put it in the work plan, the yearly work plan. And they can use the results of the evaluation. And it's an ongoing discussion all the time, the dialogue. This is one example. Another example with a fund, which is called the Joint, one fund, Ministry of Education, some representative who is in charge of a program that is meant to make a change, more achievement for Ethiopian students in high schools. And they also wanted to gather data. And it was one, and we were talking, it was so nice that we were talking and trying to understand why do they need, and it made a change, and we made decisions, and now they have one pro forma of data. Forma of data, and it will be easier for everyone. And we were looking what is the use of this data. So it shouldn't be just because I told them yesterday, it's very nice to gather endless data. Maybe one day we would like to know that or that, but we should ask always. And while we were discussing it, I told them you have to separate. There are two macro views. Macro view, it's the national view, the all state view, and macro is for the instructor in the school. He has also his macro view of the program. And then we decided to separate it. The macro view of the national view is for the policy makers of the commissioners, the governmental office. But the macro view of the school is for the instructor, and you don't have to interfere. If you want to do a zoom in, you go to the school and you get from the instructor this data. So we made the situation more normal. Okay? So more
But
easy.
I took it out because it's too much for the computer at once to be connected to this and that, and it's not.
Okay, let's see. Okay,
Which
I will.
one do you need?
I'll tell
It's
you
just-
the other
yeah.
topic. Leave it. I will do it without it. Forget about it. I know what I meant to talk about. And the question that I raised at the beginning was the question of interior evaluation units in an NGO organization, because it's something strange, because if we are interior, we work for the organization. We ask the question for more learning organization, to develop learning organization, to develop the profession, more professional people in the organization. But then we get the money, the funds from outsourcing, from funds from governmental. So sometimes they want that the program that they give money for to be evaluated, but they commission the evaluation. So how do we work there? This is a big issue. And the last 2 years, I gave you 2 examples how we work, how we move between these arenas. The data once inside the organization, second time with the commissioners. So we do all that with the dialogue, and the understanding the data is contextual through the perspective of each one of the stakeholders. So it goes on, and then we create new evaluation needs. We decide what would be the needs, and we start all over again. And in the meantime, what happens, the programs, they change. And they change and they become better. And the instructors become better. So everyone benefits from the evaluation. And also one of the targets, really objectives of since this year or last year, is the empowerment of the field. That we will give the field, the people, the practitioners, tools in order to conduct small evaluations, small researches, when we give a supervision. So it really differs. Sometimes we do the whole business, the whole evaluation program. We evaluate a program from the beginning, from the R&D, pilots, and implementation. Once we do it a small one, a defined one, and once they just come and consult with us and how to do it, and we help really periodically the field to conduct its own evaluation. And I want to go to the last one. Can I? I'll do it fast. This is important. There is a program which is called Thinking Leadership Program. It is meant for children in the junior high school pupils to become more responsible and leadership for themselves and for the community, of themselves and of the community. And we worked with them, through this dialogue, partnership, responsive evaluation, all what I described, and she said, the managers. The instructors realized that the process had been evaluated and not them as instructors. Evaluation results were received by the instructors, not as if they were judged, so they were not in an apologetic stage. This year, they felt that evaluation became their interest. And that was a big thing, because we didn't come to judge them, we were partners, and it was really an ongoing dialogue. And another thing, I don't have time, right? Okay, so just the last thing.